Hello student, in this class we will discuss about tsunami. Tsunami is the Japanese word term. In Japan, the earthquake of the oceanic region is not generally referred to as tsunami. Tsunami is the combination of two terms. First is TSU plus NAMIS, NAMIS. Suna means either high or harbor. Namis means wave. It means tsunami, the meaning of tsunami is either high wave or harbor wave. It is referred to as high because in case of tsunami, there appear water appear as a wall along the coastal part. Okay, the height, that is amplitude of water wave is very high. Okay, and you see, since tsunami affect only coastal area is referred to as harbor. That's why tsunami is also referred to as harbor wave. Getting well now? So what is the meaning of tsunami? It is clear. Tsunami is Japanese word. It is the combination of two terms, suna plus namis. Suna means high or harbor, namis means wave. It means you can say that tsunami is, meaning of tsunami is either high wave or harbor wave. Getting well now? Actually, you see, it is different from normal type of wave, because in normal type of wave, you see, suppose there are two type of wave in the ocean. The wave appear at the upper surface of the water, okay, and this is referred to as amplitude of the wave A. This is also amplitude of the wave. Getting well now? And the different distance between the two crest or two tuff is referred to as wavelength and is indicated by lambda. Okay, the deviation from the mean position is referred to as amplitude, and the distance between the two tuff or crest is referred to as wavelength. Okay, so as far as the question of wave is concerned, wave is in fact the transmission of mechanism of transmission of energy in the oceanic water. There are two type of wave. One is referred to as free wave and second is referred to as forced wave. In case free wave is due to general atmospheric disturbance, whereas forced wave is the wave which generated due to the axial pull exerted by moon and the sun. Getting well now? So actually you see, suppose normal atmospheric, due to normal atmospheric wave, atmospheric disturbance, the wave develop in the upper surface of the oceanic water now. Okay, and actually in wave the water move in the circular path, and the circumference of the circular path depend on the energy of the wave. If energy is low, then circumference will be low. If energy is more, then circumference will be more. It is clear now, right? So actually when this wave will migrate along coastal part, okay, and along the coastal part, since the depth of the ocean is low, so that's why in order to maintain circumference intact, because according to the second law of Newton, that is the law of inertia, every system try to maintain its energy now. So this wave system or this wave component will also try to maintain its energy, right? And energy is associated with the circumference of the wave. Okay, so that's why it will elongate here, and hence it will get disturbed, and fragmentation of the wave will occur, and after fragmentation the water will move along continent toward direction. This is referred to as surf or breaker wave. Okay, this is referred to as surf, SURF, or breaker wave. Getting well now? It will ascend up to a particular height along the coastal area now. Then after, right, the water will start returning back. This returning component is referred to as backwash or rip current or undertow current. undertow current. It is clear na? And suppose this is the coastal area na, so if suppose this is coastal area, and if some wave start flowing, some component of the wave start flowing parallel to that of the coast, it is referred to as Balanchali current. Balanchali current. It is clear na? So what is the meaning of surf? What is the meaning of reef current? What is the meaning of Balanchali current? It is clear na? If this is coastal area, if wave is moving in this direction, so it will be surf na? Returning component will be reef current or undertow current or backwash. And if some part of the water will start flowing parallel to the coast, it is referred to as Balanchali current. It is clear na? Balanchali current. So you see, in case of normal wave, normal oceanic wave, the wave after being destroyed, okay, this destruction point is referred to as knot point, okay, or plunge point you can also say. So the wave migrate towards the continental direction after being fragmented. Getting well now? But the case of tsunami is quite different. In case of tsunami, the wave without being fragmented, the entire water in block get transferred from ocean to continent, causing devastating flood along the coastal area, that is harbor area. And as the impact of this, there occur heavy loss of human and physical resources. Okay, so this is and hence this is climax natural phenomena to be noted, right? It is climax natural phenomena. But if this climax natural phenomena, if any climax natural phenomena or any climax phenomena, whether nature induced or man induced, right, actually will affect the settlement area, causing heavy particularly loss of human and physical resources, then it is referred to a natural calamity. Okay, you see, when tsunami affected eastern coastal part of India, Sumatra tsunami 2004, so it caused large scale devastation, and hence this Sumatra tsunami 2004 acted as calamity, natural calamity. Okay, because thousand people were killed, right? And there was a heavy loss of physical resources located along the coastal part. Getting well now? So how tsunami is different from that of the normal wave? It is clear now? In normal wave, after being fragmented, move in continent-ward direction. But in case of tsunami, fragmentation of the wave not occur. Okay, the entire wave water in block, okay, get transferred from ocean to the continent, causing devastating flood around the coastal part. Okay, now the question is, you see, how tsunami originates, what factor causes the origin of the tsunami? So it is said that if earthquake will happen, will occur along the coast, along the bed of the ocean. Suppose this is coastal, this is oceanic area, and this is the ocean bed, getting well now, right? And this is sea level, in the upper top sea level, and this is sea bed. Okay, so actually if earthquake occur here, if this is the focus of the earthquake, focus is the point in the interior part of the earth where seismic wave originate. Seismic wave are in the form of primary wave, secondary wave, surface wave, also known as long wave or indicated by L wave, PG wave, SG wave, PS star wave, S star wave. It is clear now? So focus is just located in the interior part of the earth, and the place on the earth's surface just above focus is referred to epicenter. So actually you see from this point, from this focus, seismic wave start moving in this direction. Okay. On the other hand, in the upper part of the ocean, in the upper part of the ocean, there exists the oceanic current. Getting well now? So suppose this is the oceanic current, normal oceanic current, and this is the earthquake wave. This is oceanic wave, and this is earthquake wave. Getting well now? Actually, you see, when the frequency of oceanic wave and earthquake wave is the same, okay, when they converge, the two wave है ना, one wave is oceanic wave and second wave is particularly earthquake wave converge, right? If they are having the same frequency, then resonance occur. Getting well now, right? What is the physical phenomena which occur in case the two wave converge having the same frequency? If in case of convergence of the two wave having same frequency, resonance occur, and as a result of resonance, you see the amplitude of the wave increases, okay, and wavelength of the wave decreases, and as the wave है ना approach the coastal area, its amplitude gradually increases. This high amplitude in the tsunami is referred to as tsunami runoff, okay, and along the coastal part, it appears as a wall. Its height may be up to 25 to 35 meter, okay. So actually this is water wall, and you see, since tsunami is multiple wave phenomena, it is not a single wave phenomena, so the entire water in block get transferred from ocean to continent, and it will submerge the harbor area or coastal area, causing heavy loss to human and physical resources. So what is the cause of tsunami? It is clear now. Actually, tsunami occurred due to the resonance phenomena according to physics, right? Actually, different scientists tried to explain tsunami in different way, but most accurate explanation was given by the physicists, and according to them, right, tsunami is the product of resonance phenomena, right, which occur due to the convergence of normal oceanic wave and earthquake wave having same frequency. And as a result of resonance, the amplitude increases and wavelength decreases. Okay, you know that when wavelength decrease, so low wavelength range poses high energy, right? That's why it attains very high energy. You know na, right? Longer wavelength range poses low energy, and shorter wavelength range having particularly high energy na. So it attains very high energy, and as it will tend toward the coastal area, its amplitude will gradually increases, and this high amplitude of wave is referred to as tsunami runoff. Getting well now? And you see, whatever sediment, boulder, rock boulder, etc., the tsunami will carry is referred to as tsunami missile, right? क्षेपणास्त्र को कहते हैं. It will cause large scale destruction along the coastal part. What is tsunami? Getting well now? Okay. So it is said that actually now the question is, in which case the resonance will occur, right? In which case the frequency of the earthquake wave and oceanic wave become the same na? So it is said that if the intensity of the earthquake will be more than 7.5, right, at Richter scale, in this case the frequency of this seismic wave matches with the frequency of the oceanic wave, and hence resonance occurs. It is clear now? The first condition, there are several factors responsible for tsunami. First cause is, right, ocean bed earthquake. Ocean bed earthquake. Getting well now? If ocean bed earthquake, and for this I put the conditionality that intensity of the earthquake should be more than 7.5. If intensity will be 4, it will not cause tsunami, because in this case the frequency of the earthquake wave will not match with the oceanic wave. Getting well now? First, second is the vertical upliftment of the plate. First is oceanic or the earthquake, ocean bed earthquake. Second is vertical upliftment. Vertical upliftment of the plate. Vertical upliftment of the plate. It happened in case of Sumatra tsunami 2004. Okay, but it was basically, according to most of the geographers, it was due to the vertical upliftment of the plate. Okay. Third factor is ocean bed volcanic eruption. You know that every volcanic eruption remain associated with the earthquake. Every volcanic eruption remain associated with earthquake. Getting well now? Every volcanic eruption remain associated with earthquake, and if the intensity of the earthquake will be more than 7.5, certainly it will cause tsunami, right? There is high possibility. Nothing is certain in geography to be noted. Getting well now? Again you see, if a very high mountain is located along the coastal part, okay, suppose particularly this is very high mountain and this is the coastal region, na, right? So if landslide will occur, right, so large scale landslide produces earthquake and hence tsunami. Large scale landslide. Third factor is right. Fourth factor is large scale landslide, bhuaschalan, okay, in which rock boulder of the mountainous region directly fall in the oceanic region. It is clear, na? Right, directly fall in the oceanic region. What is this? It is clear, na? Right. And next factor you see meteoric bombardment, right? Meteoric bombardment also in the oceanic region also may cause earthquake and hence tsunami. So there are several factors responsible for tsunami, okay? There are several factors. A spatial object when entered inside the earth atmosphere due to friction exerted by the atmospheric wind start burning or ignition start now, right? It is said that most of the this is referred to as meteors, okay? Normally most of the meteors get destroyed, but some fall on the earth without complete burning, okay? So it is, when it fall, it will create crater, it may create volcanic eruption or earthquake, right? If it is in oceanic area, then tsunami is expected there if intensity is more than 7.5 at Richter scale. It is clear now? So actually what is tsunami? It is clear. Now see, there are two types of tsunami. One tsunami migrate in the continent-ward direction, and this is first component which is moving in this direction, and second component of tsunami, right, migrate in the ocean-ward direction. It is clear na? This is second type. Second, this is first component which is, this is migrating towards the continental, but second component is migrating towards the central part of the ocean, okay? So this first is referred to as local tsunami, getting well now? And this is referred to as distant tsunami, okay? There are two types of tsunami. The tsunami which migrate along the coastal part toward the coast is referred to as local tsunami, and the tsunami which migrate toward the central part of the ocean is referred to as distant tsunami. It must be noted that actually local tsunami is devastating, but there is no impact of the distant tsunami right along the coastal part. Getting well now? Again, one important noticeable character of tsunami is when tsunami will originate and when tsunami will remain in the central part of the ocean. Okay, actually with changing position, the condition of tsunami also change. Getting well now? When tsunami will remain in the central part of the ocean, its wavelength remain high, right? This is wavelength, and amplitude remain low. This is amplitude now. This is also amplitude. So actually when tsunami will remain in the central part, getting well now? Right, will remain in the central part, okay, central part of the ocean, its amplitude will be low and wavelength will be high now. Getting well now? Amplitude will be low and wavelength will be high, okay. So in this case, if there exists any ship or boat in the central part of the ocean and tsunami passes from below this ship, it not causes any devastation and is not noticeable, okay, is not noticed by the ship. Getting well now? But as tsunami move in coastward direction, its amplitude increases and wavelength decreases. So in this case, if there is any boat, it will drown in the water or not. It is clear, na? Right? So actually, this is very important aspect. If you see in the central part, right, since amplitude is low, that's why tsunami, if passes from below the boat or ship, not causes any destruction and even cannot be detected by the ship, na? But if the ship is located along the coastal part and tsunami will, it will completely drown the ship in the water. It is clear, na? So what is the impact of tsunami? It is clear. What is the speciality of tsunami? It is clear. Actually, you see, tsunami is the natural phenomena to be noted. Okay, tsunami is the natural phenomena, and it cannot be stopped, right? It is better to mitigate its impact. Getting well now? So actually, you see how you will mitigate its impact. So actually, you see, Bay of Bengal as well as Arab Sea remain affected by tsunami. Pacific Ocean is referred to as a ring of fire or fire girdle of Pacific. It is clear na? Ring of fire or fire girdle of Pacific. Getting well now? Because this is the position of Pacific Sea, Pacific plate, and Pacific plate from east there occur convergence of American plate and Pacific plate, and from west there is the convergence of Eurasian plate and Pacific plate, and hence a semicircular volcanic belt is found. This is referred to as a ring of fire or fire girdle of Pacific. Getting well now? So actually earthquake and volcanic eruption is very common here, right? You see in this area there is Krakatoa, Mayon, Fusiyama and Sakurajima. Okay. Again you see here in Kamchatka Peninsula there is a volcanic eruption. Again in North America and Mount Shasta, Mount Rainier, Mount Hood. In California, again in Central America, Mount Jorallo and Mount Izalco. In South America, Ecuador and Cotopaxi. Okay, this continue up to Mount Erebus in southern part of South America. It is clear now, right? Ultimately merge with Antarctica, you see. Okay, so this is referred to circum-Pacific belt. Getting well now? So that's why, since earthquake is very common in Pacific Ocean, so that's why tsunami is very common, is relatively common in Pacific Ocean as compared to that of Atlantic and Indian Ocean. But Indian Ocean also experiences tsunami. Both Arab Sagar, that is east coastal part of India, and west coastal part of India, Arab Sea and Bay of Bengal, both experiences tsunami from time to time. And the most recent tsunami phenomena which affected Indian subcontinent was Sumatra tsunami 2004. Okay, right? It worstly affected Andaman and Nicobar Island, the southern part of Indian subcontinent known as Indira Point, completely submerged underwater. Okay, and Sumatra tsunami 2004 affected Tamil Nadu, right? Andhra Pradesh, Odisha and West Bengal coastal area. Tamil Nadu was worst affected. Getting me now? Right? Tamil Nadu was worst affected. Actually, this part of India, that is this eastern coastal part of India, was affected by Sumatra tsunami 2004. But there were 3 places located along the coastal part of eastern coastal part of India. One was Muthupet, and first was Muthupet and second is Pishabaram. These were the 2 places located along the coastal part of Tamil Nadu, and Bhitarkanika, located along the coastal part of Odisha, was not affected by Sumatra tsunami 2004. Okay, right? Despite their coastal location, the reason was, right, in this area there was a heavy concentration of coral as well as mangrove. Coral as well as mangrove are referred to as natural line of defense because they possess the capacity to absorb the energy of tsunami and mitigates its impact along the coastal part. Getting well now? So that's why it is better to develop mangrove, right? That's why government of India started a specific program, mangrove for the future, right? Scientists are trying to provide ideal condition for development of the coral. Gujarat government is trying to develop artificial coral. It is clear na? And it will be the center of tourist attraction also. Getting well now? Along with the protection of the coastal area. Getting well now? So you see, as far as the question of tsunami, I said that it is essentially it is climax natural phenomena. It is climax natural phenomena. Getting well now? What is its impact? So it is climax natural phenomena. It cannot be stopped. It is climax. Pause. So actually, mangrove and mangrove actually what I said, mangrove as well as coral are referred to as natural runoff deficit is clear now. But this will also mitigate the impact of tsunami. But at the same time, one important aspect is you see, in case of Pacific Ocean, the frequency of tsunami is very high, right? I said that tsunami is essentially a natural phenomena. It cannot be stopped. It is better to mitigate its impact. So how its impact will be mitigated? So actually you see there are two ways to cope up with the natural phenomena. It is clear now? One is pre-disaster management and second is post-disaster management. So in pre-disaster management, this is if disaster occurs, so whatever step we will take prior to disaster is referred to as pre-disaster management. Okay? And whatever step we will take after disaster is referred to as post-disaster management. Okay? So in pre-disaster management is based on preparedness, prevention and mitigation, PPM model. Okay, for in pre-disaster management, we give main thrust on preparedness, prevention and mitigation. Prevention, preparedness and mitigation. Prevention, preparedness and mitigation. This is pre-disaster management. Okay, one should be prepared. One should be prepared to cope up with the situation. We should try to prevent the phenomena. Okay, and mitigation means try to mitigate its impact. To reduce its impact is referred to as mitigation. Okay, so this is referred to as pre-disaster, and you see, and after disaster, whatever management is required is referred to post-disaster management, and post-disaster involves the concept of 3R. 3R means first is relief, second is relief, rehabilitation, and third one is relief, rehabilitation, there are 3R. Relief, rehabilitation and recovery. Okay, so this is referred to as 3R. Getting well now? So there are two type of management of any problem. One is pre-disaster, second is post-disaster. Getting well now? So actually you see, pre-disaster is more important, I think, as compared to that of post-disaster. That's why when Indian subcontinent faced the disaster of Sumatra tsunami 2004, it revealed the failure of the government to cope up with this situation, and this led the Indian Parliament to enact National Disaster Management Act 2005. Okay, this act created actually technical and legal framework to cope up with such type of situation. Okay, the act provides for setting up of National Disaster Management Authority, a State Disaster Management Authority, District Disaster Management Authority at the district level. Again, particularly you see, this act provided for setting up of specialized forces to cope up with this situation known as National Disaster Management Response Force. Okay, a State Disaster Response Force and District Disaster Response Force. Getting well now? Actually, there is also the provision of separate fund to cope up with the disaster. It is referred to as National Disaster Response Fund. It is clear? A State Disaster Response Fund. It is clear now? Actually, Fourth Finance Commission had given particular recommendation with respect to such type of disaster. I will discuss it later. It is clear now? So, what is pre-disaster? What is post-disaster now? So, actually, suppose we have to manage any aspect, and for this we are making effort to conduct pre-disaster. So in pre-disaster management, detection and forecasting is very important. Okay, right? When incoming tsunamis should be detected and people should be given prior information about incoming tsunami. Then the people will shift themselves in the interior part of the continent. In this case, it will reduce the loss of human and physical resources. Getting well now? So proper detection and forecasting is very important to cope up with the situation of tsunami. And you see, such type of detection center in Pacific Ocean is referred to as Pacific Tsunami Warning Network, right? Pacific Tsunami Warning Network located in Honolulu in Hawaiian Island. Located in Honolulu in Hawaiian Island. Pacific Tsunami Warning Network. Okay? It is located in Honolulu in Hawaiian Island. Getting well now? What is the mechanism involved in this system? You see, actually suppose this is oceanic area na. So how it works, how this detection and warning system works, Pacific Tsunami, what is Pacific Tsunami Warning Network? It is clear na? Actually there are 26 members of Pacific Tsunami Warning Network, right? Among the neighbor country of India, Indonesia and Australia are the member of Pacific Tsunami Warning Network, because both are also associated with Pacific Ocean, you know. Okay? One side Indian Ocean, second side is Pacific Ocean. So that's why they got natural membership of this organization. It is clear, na? Actually, you see, the first instrument which is set up at the depth of 6 feet around is referred to as bottom pressure sensor, BPS. Okay, this is the first instrument installed at the depth of 6 feet, in the depth of 6 feet at the floor of the ocean. It is referred to as bottom pressure sensor. Bottom pressure sensor. Okay. Second instrument is located at the sea level or ocean level. It is referred to as surface buoys. This is second instrument, right? They are interlinked. Okay. One is first is bottom pressure sensor. Second is surface buoys. Okay. Then suppose this is network main station recording the signal of the tsunami. It is clear now? So what happened, you see, if tsunami wave, if earthquake is wave is moving in this way, so first bottom pressure sensor will detect it now, and it will transmit information to surface buoys, and surface buoys will transmit information to Pacific Tsunami Warning Network. Get even now? How it works, it is clear now? कि first bottom pressure sensor will detect the intensity of the earthquake, whether it is more than 7.5 or less than 7.5. If intensity is more than 7.5, then it immediately give information to surface buoys, and surface buoys will transmit information to Pacific Tsunami Warning Network. It is clear now? Actually, this is Pacific Tsunami Warning Network. Then after, you see what happened, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Network, after receiving the information, okay, will transmit the information to all its 26 member countries. All its 26 member countries, right? All the 26 member country, holds sensor, receiving sensor, is having receiving sensor now. So they come to know about incoming tsunami now. Then you see the member countries of Pacific Tsunami Warning Network on humanitarian ground will transmit the information to its neighbor country. It is clear. What is the mechanism? It is clear. You see, again repeating, there is a bottom pressure sensor at the depth of 6 feet normally. Then at the sea level there is a surface buoys, right? First BPS will detect the intensity of the earthquake. Then it will transmit the information to surface buoys. Surface bear will transmit the information to, right, Pacific Tsunami Warning Network. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Network will immediately transmit information to all its 26 member countries, and the member countries of Pacific Tsunami Warning Network on humanitarian ground will transmit information to their neighbor country. Okay, but this information will be transmitted, right, through, will be received through receiving sensor. Getting well now? You see, when Sumatra tsunami was noticed by Pacific Tsunami Warning Network, immediately Pacific Tsunami Warning Network transmitted information to all its 26 member countries now. And among the neighbor country of India, Indonesia and Australia are the member of Tsunami Warning Network. So Indonesia and Australia both transmitted information to tsunami to India now. Along the coastal part of India, right, several receiving sensors were installed previously, but since they were not functioning well, India could not get the information about incoming tsunami, and hence suffered loss on large scale. It is clear now? Right? Scientists of BARC scientists developed several centers along eastern and western coastal part of India to detect. It is clear now? So how detection center work, it is clear. So you see, on the pattern of Pacific Tsunami Warning Network, also the countries associated with Indian Ocean installed such type of detection center known as Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation Network. What is the name? Name is IOTWMN, means Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation Network. Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation Network. Getting well now? Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation Network, right, is the center developed by the member countries associated with the Indian Ocean. Getting well now? Right? India also adopted DART technique. This system is based on the same methodology. Okay? India also adopted DART technique, D-A-R-T, DART technique, DART, D-A-R-T, DART technique. The full form of DART technique is Deep Ocean Assessment and Reporting of Tsunami. DART technique means Deep Ocean Assessment and Reporting of Tsunami. Deep Ocean Assessment and Reporting of Tsunami. What is the meaning of DART technique? It is clear now? Deep Ocean Assessment and Reporting of Tsunami. This is referred to as DART technique. DART, D-A-R-T. But this is American-based technology which was adopted by India. That is clear now? DART technique was actually, you see, in 1971, Government of India issued coastal regulation zone, right? Zoning regulation. It is clear now? Actually, you see, as per the coastal regulation zone notification, no heavy concentration of settlement will be allowed along the coastal part, because coastal part are the zone which remain affected by tsunami. Getting well now? But it was not properly implemented in India. Okay? That's why India suffered a lot. Getting well now? You see, one important and most noticeable point with respect to Sumatra tsunami 2004 was, right, certain fishermen community residing along the coastal part of Andaman and Nicobar Island, right, residing along the coastal part of Andaman and Nicobar Island, shifted themselves in the interior part of the okay, and hence they were least affected by Sumatra tsunami 2004, though they are illiterate people, right? They are innocent people, but they always maintain contact with the nature, and hence they get a specific benefit of this particular activity, of their activity. It is clear now? You see, actually there are certain indication of tsunami, Okay, so the fishermen community of Andaman and Nicobar Island detected the change which occurred in the oceanic zone. Okay, what are the particularly sign, particularly indication of incoming tsunami is first is lullness spread in the oceanic zone. Lullness means calmness spread in the oceanic zone. Okay, prior to advent of tsunami. Lullness spread in the oceanic zone prior to the advent of tsunami. Got it now? Okay. Second aspect is there occur relative drop in the sea level. 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 Getting well now? Next relative drop in the sea level. This is the first. And a lullness spread first. Second, relative fall in the sea level. That is negative change in the sea level is recorded. Fall in the sea level is referred to a negative change, and the upward upliftment of the sea level is referred to as positive change in the sea level. It is clear. So negative change in the sea level is the indicator of incoming tsunami. Again, water appear reddish in color. Color of the water change. Third aspect is water appear reddish. Water appear reddish in color. Water appear reddish in color. This is third indication of tsunami. Third indication of tsunami. Water spread. Okay. Bubble also develop in the ocean. Water bubble also develop in the ocean. Also develop, which is also observed in the coastal part. Next change in the water is water become sticky. चिपचिपा हो जाना. Water become sticky. Water become sticky. And lastly, the pungent smell of ammonia and rotten egg spread. Pungent spread of ammonia and rotten egg. अंडे, सड़े हुए अंडे का दुर्गंध. Okay, spread in the coastal area. Pungent smell of ammonia spread the coastal area. Getting well now? So since fisherman community always remain in contact with the ocean, that's why they were in the position to notice this change. Okay, and they shifted themselves in the interior part, and hence tsunami, Sumatra tsunami 2004 not affected this community. It is clear now, right? So actually what is the mitigation program? It is clear now. Again you see, certain particularly computer based technology will also be helpful. As for example, Sri Lanka developed Sahana network. Sahana network. Sahana network is computer based technology. Okay, it is highly helpful. What is the meaning of Sahana is Sinhalese term whose meaning is help at the time of distress. Sinhalese term whose meaning is help at the time of distress. Help at the time of distress. Okay, Sahana network was developed by engineers working in Antyodaya Movement Organization of Sri Lanka. Antyodaya Movement Organization of Sri Lanka. First Sahana network was started to be used in Sri Lanka. Okay, and later Swedish International Agency put Sahana network at international domain. Swedish International Agency put Sahana network at international domain, and hence several other countries adopted this model to implement relief operation effectively. Getting well now? So what is required, it is clear. What step is better to cope up with the tsunami, right? And impact of tsunami will always be along the coastal area only, not in the interior part of the continent. That's all. Okay, best of luck.